Villagers, thank you for love and support. I appreciate it all. Africans have always sat down for people to determine what we do, what we use our resources for. Other people sit outside of the continent to determine the fate of the natural resources. But with Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso paving the way, we are seeing a different narrative in Africa. The president of Tanzania, Samia Hassan Suluhu, launched a 1.2 billion US dollar uranium project with Russia. Russia is going to bring its expertise into Tanzania, develop everything that we need in Tanzania to help us boost our economy. Nuclear energy is so important, and this will give us clean energy. These are things that other people, like the West that have been in Africa for decades, do not want us to have access to. Because we are not allowed to add value to whatever we have here. So the uranium, the gold, the bauxite, the diamonds, everything in the continent of Africa is being catered for by other people. Like what France was doing in Niger. Nigerians have this uranium, yet they were sleeping in darkness. And the people outside of the continent who do not have it like France was the one benefiting. This woman decided to ban other African countries doing small businesses in Tanzania. There are a lot of people that will be chased out or will be out of business simply because of a policy.
We are launching the pilot plant at the Mkuju River project. The commissioning of this pilot facility opens a new chapter in the development of Russian-Tanzanian cooperation in the uranium sector, founded on the principles of long-term partnership. On the behalf of Uranium One Group, I want to express our deepest gratitude to you personally, Madam President, and to the government of Tanzania for your trust and steadfast support of this large-scale project. The pilot plant is a crucial step towards establishing an industrial enterprise for natural uranium mining and production in Tanzania. The project's industrial phase involves the construction of the main plant with a capacity of up to 3,000 tons of uranium per year. We plan to start the construction of the main production facility in early 2026. Its commissioning in 2029 is projected to become the centerpiece of Namtumba region's development. This will be achieved primarily through the creation of over 4,000 new jobs and support for more than 21,000 livelihoods via supply chain opportunities in Tanzania's mining sector and related industries, alongside significant contribution to enhancing regional infrastructure. The significance of this day extends far beyond technological success. For us at Uranium One Group, this project represents more than uranium mining. It embodies our unwavering social responsibility toward Tanzania, where promoting community well-being through sustainable development is fundamental to our mission. Over the years, we have implemented in Tanzania a number of strategic social initiatives focused on education, healthcare, environmental protection, and community empowerment. Your Excellency, dear friends, we are firmly resolved to justify the trust placed in us by working responsibly, transparently, and for the benefit of Tanzania. We express our deepest gratitude to Her Excellency, Madam President, for her visionary leadership, the Ministry of Minerals, Ministry of Natural Resources and Tourism, and Ministry of State for Planning and Investment, the Tanzania Chamber of Mines, Tanzania Atomic Energy Commission, and Tanzania National Park, members of Parliament and Ruvuma regional authorities, the community of Namtumba region, the dedicated Mantra Tanzania team, and all local workers driving this project forward. In conclusion, I would like to emphasize that the project's implementation is based on a partnership model grounded in equality, deep respect for Tanzanian sovereignty, and its commitment to sustainable development. Rosatom, as a global leader in nuclear technologies, sees Tanzania as a strategic partner with whom we are ready to jointly implement nuclear energy projects in Africa. We firmly believe that Russian-Tanzanian cooperation founded on shared values will bring prosperity to Tanzania and strengthen national energy security. Thank you.
This fully coincides with Russia's foreign policy priorities of strengthening relations with our friends in Africa, because, as President Putin stressed during the second Russia-Africa summit, the African continent is emerging as a new center of power right before our eyes. And at the same time, it corresponds with the policy of economic openness and economic diplomacy pursued by Her Excellency President Samia Suluhu Hassan, which Russia welcomes and fully supports. Because the vectors of our foreign policies coincide, we have jointly achieved a lot during past few years in various fields. To promote our bilateral trade and economic cooperation, Russia and Tanzania set up the Intergovernmental Commission on Trade and Economic Cooperation. The Commission has already had two very successful sessions devoted to a wide range of issues of mutual interest, including investment, trade, logistics, transport, energy, agriculture, tourism, and education. I am particularly happy to announce today that for the educational year of 2025-2026, the Russian government decided to increase the number of scholarships granted to Tanzanian youth from 90 to 150. Ladies and gentlemen, launching the pilot plant for the uranium project is a great continuation of our joint efforts to facilitate further cooperation. To start with, the role of uranium in the world's energy balance, especially in the context of the transition to more environmentally friendly energy sources, is rising steadily. Therefore, by starting to develop its uranium reserves, Tanzania places itself in the list of top strategic partners for energy cooperation in the world. Secondly, by launching this project, operated by the subsidiary of the Russian state corporation Rosatom, Tanzania gains a reliable and highly qualified partner in fulfilling Tanzania's goal to develop various sources of energy for domestic needs as well as for exporting it to neighboring countries.
We have also noticed that this thing is coming close to election time, that she is looking for other people to give her the mandate. This is also politically moved by Hassan, because we've seen a lot of people coming out to tell us the hardship in Tanzania. So the things that she thinks that when she puts in place will help the people out of unemployment is for her to decide that the foreigners living on her land must stop doing small-scale business. But this woman hasn't provided any capital for her citizens. The people that are living in Tanzania doing these small-scale businesses are running it with their own money. But the people were making noise that the foreigners are taking their businesses. Now that you have put in this measure, what will these people in your country, in Tanzania, start with? Africans, we need to understand that the problems that we face in our respective countries aren't as a result of other black brothers who come into our countries, but it is as a result of the system called democracy. This is what is giving us the hardship, the pain that we are going through. So even if they decide to move all the other people from our countries, we will still not be free. That hardship will continue. until we get good leadership like what we are seeing in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, there will never be a change. Even if all other people you see as foreigners leave your country. The West and America are the problem. The system that they've imposed on us is what is giving us all the trouble that we are facing in Africa. The system doesn't allow our leaders to put in measures that will help us enjoy whatever that we have. Other people sit outside of the continent and they are the ones that are enjoying. These people carry everything that we will use to benefit ourselves, and they prevent us from adding value to the resources that we have. So at the end of the day, we export whatever we have in the raw form. They will turn them into finished goods, come back into the continent and sell them to us at a very expensive price. So the things that we are supposed to be using to develop ourselves, for us all to enjoy and have good life, is being taken outside of our countries. Now we are seeing Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, and we are all excited. It's because they are able to take control over everything that is in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. Now the natural resources in these countries are being controlled by their leaders. But all the people living in the democratic elected countries, our resources are being controlled by West and America. That is the reason to which they are after Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, because they are not getting the upper hand to continue to loot whatever that is in these countries. That is the reason to which France is now down to zero. So until the African is able to control the narrative, control our resources, turn them into finished goods before they leave outside of the continent, we will continue to be suffering and keep on fighting among ourselves. So let's all unite to fight for a better system and fight against the system that these people are using to cripple us, which is democracy. All that we need is unity, because that's the only thing that we can use to defeat these people. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world, in Africa, East Africa, and in Tanzania.